we made it. We're gonna line on the road now pretty soon. But we don't. Oh, somebody's down right there. Oh. Somebody's down right there.
Yeah, somebody's down. We cannot do nothing for her. Go, people, go. Beat the horn, Dad.
Oh my God, bro. Oh,
yeah, beat the horn. Just go.
This story, it's not getting to me as much attention as it should. It's really interesting how I've seen it, but a lot of the bigger platforms have not really engaged in what's happening in Maui. And I think it's because, and I think it's causing us not to know much about what's gone down in just the last few days in Maui. So crews in West Maui are doing devastating work of sifting through the ashes of incinerated homes and landmarks. Okay, as the death toll from the deadliest U.S. wildfire in more than 100 years is still rising. As of Monday afternoon, officials confirmed 99 people have died, up to the previous count of 96 in Hawaii. Hawaii Governor Josh Green said that the death toll would likely increase very significantly and could double for over the next 10 days. The names of the victims whose families have been notified will be released today. And the Maui Police Department Chief John Pelletier announced during a news conference. An unknown number of people are still unaccounted for. And this is a fire that happened a few days ago in Maui. And the search teams with cadaver dogs, they're looking for the remains through devastated neighborhoods. A lot of people had to run and left all of what they had behind so that they didn't have their phones. A few days ago, I was looking online and I just saw people who were able to post them being in their homes a few hours and then having to be on the water for safety, getting out on the water as they watched their homes literally disappear in the fires that were happening. The governor said that his heart also goes out to the people who still haven't been able to return to Lahaina, but emphasized the importance of allowing first responders time and space to identify the deceased. There was a man who was identified as trying to go back and help people in the fire. He actually passed. These fires were spreading rapidly into the neighborhoods. The largest during this time, though, guys, we know about Hawaii, or we've heard about Hawaii's sirens, right? And in that time, as the fires were sifting through the neighborhoods, that siren happened to be silent. Emergency communications with the residents were largely limited to mobile phones and broadcasters at the time, when most of the power and cell service had already been knocked out. And now the state's main electric provider, Hawaiian Electric, is facing a lawsuit claiming power lines blown over by high winds helped cause the destructive wildfire, though an official cause of the fires has not been determined. So let's be clear about that. Right now, as of yet, an official cause of the wildfires has not been determined or confirmed. So Hawaii's Emergency Management Agency reported last year the risk posed wildfires to human life was low. Officials underestimated the deadly threat of wildfires, even as they acknowledged a lack of necessary resources to mitigate them. Okay, so that's what's going on right now in Maui, and I know that we have some clips that I wanted to play with some updates. But if you guys get the opportunity, if you have the mental capacity, go online and really see. These are people. Somebody took a picture of what it looked like earlier that day, to what it looked like at night. And literally, like I'm saying, it's night and day. It's night and day. It went from beautiful views to nothing but ashes. Nothing but ashes. And the cries from people on their cell phones capturing their homes disappearing right before them. So let's take a listen to some of the updates.
Morning, heartbreak, confusion, and lack of communication. Days after massive wildfires destroyed the heart of western Maui, the desperate search for loved ones, with hundreds still unaccounted for. This stunning drone video showing rows of torched vehicles, now twisted husks, frozen in time.
So many people have died. My friends lost their grandparents in the fires. People are being found in their cars.
In Lahaina, the town most devastated by the wildfire, a point of no return. Residents like Leslie Clark left with nothing.
The whole thing is gone.
Anguished residents stuck in miles-long traffic jams trying to recover what's left of their homes.
I want this area cleared just in case I have an emergency, all right?
What you're seeing is the road to Lahaina. Some people have been waiting in this line for more than 15 hours to get access to their homes. I can tell you the mood is tense. People have been sleeping in their cars. They want answers.
After letting people through for 90 minutes Saturday, Maui police abruptly shutting down this entrance, leaving many drivers furious.
How are people supposed to get there if the damn roads are closed?
Some attempting to get crucial medication to those who need it the most, like Nurse Sherry Palomba, pushing to help those suffering from diabetes.
Would you say that medication for people is the greatest need right now?
If people can't get their insulin, they're going to die.
For survivors,
you're going to be okay, Milo.
Harrowing stories of escape.
Both sides, to the left and the right, are on fire.
19-year-old Noah Tompkinson, his mother and younger brother, diving into the ocean to escape the flames.
We kind of had it in the back of our mind the whole time that we wanted to be next to the water.
And now new questions over the emergency response to the fires. NBC News learning warning sirens were never activated, according to Hawaii emergency officials. And while phone, television, and radio alerts were, the governor says telecommunications were knocked out by the fire.
There was no emergency system, and most people, their phones were gone before they could get it.
Many have said they didn't receive any warnings. The state attorney general now opening an investigation into the response. Amid the rush, the only two escape routes out of Lahaina along the coast were backed up.
The remains we're finding is through a fire that melted metal. We have to do rapid DNA to identify them.
Some of those who died were trapped in their cars. With fears this morning, there are many more.
That looks so unrealistic, what we're seeing here, but it's happened. It happened. And this is the deadliest U.S. fire in 100 years. And yeah, I think Infinite, that's a good thing. A lot of people already were, before this was going on in Hawaii, I know one of the news stories coming out of Hawaii was people were fighting to protect their lands, and they were protesting, and they were asking people not to come and vacation there during that time. A lot of that was going on, and they were, fighting for that. And so right now, vacationing there could be problematic to the victims who need places to stay, who are looking for shelter. Here is one of those moments where I'm like, dang, Hawaii was literally on fire. Maui was literally on fire with the deadliest in 100 years, the deadliest fire within 100 years. And the news isn't so major as I thought it would be. You would think this would be something that is super major. They would do telethons, maybe. And I know, and don't get me wrong, I know I've seen people are pushing the story, but these bigger pages, these bigger platforms, these news stations that are just adding it as something to the rundown to talk about Hawaii is a part of the U.S. I would think that would be our focus, would be this story in particular, and how to help these people. Resources, because I don't really know any right now, but I'm pretty sure there are some online. But I want people to know what's going on in a part of the U.S. It's so, watching this footage is very, it's so sad to see. People were watching, where did these fires come from? Why weren't the sirens, which we know we know about the Hawaii sirens. We know how important they are. We know they're a staple. And something that I know should have, this is something they put a lot of money into, right? They've talked about a lot of what issues can happen and can come, but they didn't take it seriously. And look what happened in Hawaii. As they investigate, I hope we find out and get to the bottom of this so it doesn't happen again. Or so that we can figure out how to help. I would think we would hear more from our political leaders, more than a tweet, just something more. because it looks like Hawaii Hawaii needs our help. Hawaii needs our help. So, and that's what I believe too, Roller Dragon. I think it does have something to do with climate change. I remember I was talking to my brother and my best friend. And I was saying how when I was younger, they used to talk about climate change and global warming and those things. And when I was younger, I would really see how politicians would act like that was like voodoo talk. That was something that wasn't real. That was like we shouldn't talk about it. It's lies that are being made up. And fast forward to now, we're watching as waters in Antarctica and Alaska and those places that are supposed to be cold are going up to like 100 degrees. Polar bears are dying. These wildfires are coming out of nowhere. Fires that are happening so bad, and the air is turning our views orange in states that are not even near the wildfires. What are we doing to handle this? Biblically, because I gotta take it to church a little bit. It says that God gave us dominion over the earth, right? And look what we've done with it. We have not taken care of the earth. We haven't. We have dominion, yet we haven't taken care of that thing that gives us resources. Nothing. People are dying, unhoused. Animals are dying. And America is focused on the wrong things. And I'm speaking as far as America. Global warming is global. It's a global issue. It's a world issue. It's a world problem. But in America, what are we doing? So I remember that we laughed at it. Politicians acted like it was taboo. People are dying. People are suffering. It's random things that are happening. We need to start making it more of the conversations. We do. People laughed at politicians who wanted to add that as policies, to their campaigns and who wanted to campaign off those things. I remember. Now look what we're dealing with. So I agree with that. If anybody knows anything, if anybody wants to share ways that people who are watching wants to share ways or knows anything on how we can help maybe a smaller organization that's assisting, let us know, share it with us so that we can get that out there. Any calls to action, let us know, please, because I would love to know. I know usually when things that are so crazy happen, but we're living in that microwavable time, right? When something happens, it's hot, it's newsworthy for a second, and then we move on to the next issue. This is devastating. Again, the deadliest wildfire in the U.S. in a century. In a century. People died in their cars. Did you see those burnt up cars? People died trying to save people. People went out to the water and sat in the water for safety. My condolences to everybody who lost somebody, everybody who's dealing with something out there where they can't find someone. My condolences to you. Praying for your safety, praying that the people who are out there who are alive right now make it through and get the assistance they need. I want America to dive in on this. Go protect the people. I want all of our politicians to go protect the people. I want to hear more about that. What's being sent over as assistance and help